friends. Oh my goodness, I'm excited to talk to our next guest. You probably recognize her because she's in television, not just here in Ottawa, but all over the place. She is an eyewear expert, and she's going to be talking about her 3 tips to selecting the perfect eyewear. Wendy Buchanan joins me. She is an eyewear image expert with Perceptions Eyewear Inc. Welcome back.
Great to
have
see
you
you
here.
again. Great to be here.
Introduce everybody to your special guest here.
This is my model extraordinary, one of my masterpieces, my daughter, Sydney Buchanan.
I love it. That is an introduction, everybody. That is wonderful. So let's say you do have these 3 steps to picking the perfect style. Let's talk about those 3 steps and why each of them are important, Wendy.
Yeah, the first one is spec style. And spec style is all about that image, that vibe that you want to project, as well as your clothing style.
Okay.
What does that look like for cut and color? And the second one is fit. It's got to be a perfect fit. It's got to be comfortable, but it's also got to complement your features and back to your style again.
Right.
And then the third that brings it all together is the color. What's that color that when we put it on, it works so well with your complexion and your hair and makes you feel great?
Yeah, because I think the old model that we always used to think about is, you know, the shape of your face, and you have to have a specific type of eyewear for the shape of your face. Is that
forget
You're
about
done
it.
with
I'm
that.
like, ditch the face shape. I think it's an old way to look at it. We want to look at the proportions for sure, but let's not pigeonhole ourselves into a face shape.
Okay, gotcha. All right, well, let's look at
start.
some, do you want to do like do's and don'ts? Is that sort of the idea?
Well, why don't I look at what's fashionable with what's happening in clothing style, part of that spec style. And one is that big, cozy jacket that you love from, what's that show that you love this jacket from?
Only Murders in the Building.
Only Murders in the Building.
That the character Mabel wears, and she always wears like a coat like this, and it seems to have exploded across the fashion world now, right?
And what we want to do with that, because there's some bulk and some texture, we elevate that with eyewear that has some weight, some texture, it changes color. If Sydney can turn one way or the other, where we can see the sides have some texture and pattern.
Right. And honestly, like, if you would have pointed to those to me and said, I'm going to put these on Sydney and she's going to look great, I'm like, I don't know. You're the expert, Wendy, but they look fantastic.
And that's why I'm here.
Exactly,
right?
And that's why I'm over here. Yeah, for sure.
Now, if we ditch the coat and we go to more of that beautiful fall knits, more of a neutral pattern, burgundy is one of those big hot colors this season. Well, a great way to bring it into your wardrobe is you could pull it in eyewear, in one of the eyeglasses, and now you're on trend for the color without investing in maybe a whole suit. You can bring it in as a fashion accessory with eyewear.
Not to sound cliche, Wendy, but you have an eye for this. Honestly, though, again, you picked like perfect glasses.
Yeah, it's when it all comes together, when we bring all 3 of those steps together.
Now, you chose these for me. Do you want to talk about why you thought these were a good fit?
I actually want to make you look bad first, if I can.
Okay, sure.
If you're okay with that.
It's probably easier than you think, Wendy.
I want to show what happens when we get a poor fit. So this is a little bit sloppy. It's going to end up sliding down because it's too wide on the bridge. That creates a lot of negative space. If you look back at the camera, a lot of negative space below the eye, which then drags it down.
Right.
The other thing that's happening here, now if you turn so that we see the temple fit's not accurate. It's not long enough. It's cutting before the ear. So they're always going to be frustrating. Because they're not going to. And look at, they look crooked. So then
they do look crooked.
That changes your image too. It makes it look sloppy, like you don't care.
And I do. I do care. Are these?
These are going to be a good fit.
Okay.
These are a good fit.
What a difference already.
Yeah.
Even the fit as you send on the temple.
They feel good. It's that comfort. Your eyes are centered. It's following the brow. The other thing it's doing, we're pulling in a little bit of color too, because it's not a matchy-matchy with the hot, trendy burgundy, but it's a nice accent piece with the burgundy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So when somebody wants to match, they don't always think about color to color.
Right.
Right?
It can be on the same color wheel, but at the opposite side of that color wheel.
Gotcha.
But it's got the same richness, the same depth of color.
Right.
And if we turn to the side again, we've got a perfect fit here where it starts to bend right at the top of your ear.
Right, right.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay.
Now if we start to bring in color, we look at Sydney, if we switch,
Sure.
these work, but we might as well show another hot trend.
Okay. Look at these are cool looking.
I know. She's light personal coloring, light hair, light eyes, light complexion. And so we're bringing out those neutrals that look so good on Sydney, and then giving it just a pop of color
Yeah.
with the lime
green.
green.
On the sides and in the center.
Yeah, and now her eyes, we just like pulled her eyes out of the socket. Like her eyes
Yeah, no, for sure.
actually
They're
look
popping.
look
Yeah.
framed, and we've accentuated it. And we can do the same. That's where I pulled these out for
Okay.
you, because it's more, you have more of a muted complexion. Salt and pepper hair, there's some texture there.
Right.
We need to create a little bit of weight if we want to kind of make it a little bit more fashion forward with that double bridge.
We should have brought our next guest, Sid Kratzberg, into this one.
Oh,
You
yeah.
right away, you were like, oh, this guy's got some good eyewear action going on, right?
He's going to be a great segue to this one. When you bring him out, you're going to see it all come together.
Now be honest, when you saw him in the glasses, like, did you right away go, those are on point? Like he's...
Yeah, immediately when you see Sid, we're setting Sid up, when you see him, he has presence, and the
Right.
big, bold glasses give him that presence. Lighter personal coloring, great example, he's going against his personal coloring in order to make an impact, which is part of the spec
Interesting.
style. So
Okay.
he's now creating that dramatic spec style.
Where do people find you? Like these styles, do you work with a lot of different brands?
Yeah, boutique designers from all over the world. So
Okay.
I source product that it is unique. That's something that I can work with to create unique looks for my clients.
Right.
Going through that 3-step process, and I do it all by appointment only. So we can
Okay,
actually take our
okay.
time, look at your wardrobe, look at your personal coloring, and then figure out what's that vibe,
Right.
what's that image that you want to project. And it's hard to do it in one pair.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We always have a couple.
PerceptionEyewear.com, that's where they can find you.
Perceptions
There you go.
Eyewear, yeah,
Wendy
perfect.
Buchanan, PerceptionEyewear.com. The aristocrat of scent, Sid Kratzberg. We were just talking about him. He's up after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back talking fragrance